Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about, is no contact neglectful? Something to think about. A lot of times people are in a situation where they feel guilty. They're looking at what happened, they're really starting to blame themselves, and now they're thinking, well, if I don't reach out to that person, I'm neglecting them. I'm making the situation even worse, and we're not going to be able to repair things, and it's going to be all my fault.
Right.
You start to see all your flaws a lot more clearly when you're going through a breakup, and you start to blame yourself. Sometimes it's not accurate, right? Because you're feeling so hurt and so scared, you start to kind of take on more responsibility for the relationship than you should.
And many of you have been neglectful in the relationship. You know, you've heard over and over from your partner that you haven't put in enough effort. And so now in no contact, you're thinking, well, am I just confirming their beliefs that I'm not there for them?
Yes.
So this is a thought that comes up a lot in our coachings, and we thought we would address it in a bigger video just to talk about it and talk about our thoughts as to why we generally don't think it's neglectful.
Okay, so what do we got?
So the very first thing is acceptance of the breakup itself. When your partner has decided to end the relationship, the entire terms of your relationship have changed. You are now no longer responsible for things that you had been when the two of you have been together.
That's right.
The expectations are different. How you treat that person is different. What you share and what you don't share is completely different. So you're no longer in that position where you're expected to try to help meet someone else's needs.
It's like if they quit a job, you don't have to keep paying them.
Exactly.
Right? You don't go to work anymore, you don't keep getting paid.
Right.
The dynamic has changed.
And you also have a right to your space too. I mean, you do in the relationship to some degree, but at this point, you have a right to respond in the way that you do. You know, if you do need some space for your own mental health, then that's a completely okay ask here when they have ended the relationship.
Yeah.
So,
and don't let them guilt you if you do.
Right. So your role in that relationship has changed. So you no longer, again, have that expectation that you have to fulfill certain needs, or no longer are expected to not be neglectful or to be there for them in that same way.
And a lot of times people feel very loyal. Even if the other person has ended the relationship and sometimes dating other people, they still feel loyal. And it's hard to stop being loyal to that person because you care so much.
Exactly. They don't have the same rights to your time, attention, your words as they did when they were in a relationship with you. So that is part of the consequence of them deciding to break up, to end the relationship, is I am risking losing this person in my life. I am intentionally breaking off the romantic side of this relationship and distancing from them in that way.
Yep. And so the ball is in their court. And that's why we often say, leave them alone, let them reach out when they're ready. If they end the relationship, they made the unilateral decision to change the dynamics. It is now their responsibility to make an effort to repair things. Now, we are not huge about how they do it. We're okay with direct approaches. Of course, we don't want them to breadcrumb you, but if you don't hear from them for months, we don't think that they have to say something meaningful before you reply to a simple message, because they're making an attempt to repair things. And that's what we want, is for them to make an attempt to repair things and then navigate like an adult from there. So it doesn't mean that you don't have things that you shouldn't work on or try and change or try and heal while you're in no contact or no reaching out, as we call it. But ideally, you want them to open up the negotiations, to reach out, to make the bid, to connect with you.
The other thing we want to bring up is respect for your ex's boundaries. So many of you will say, well, I know my ex, and even if they said that they don't want to talk to me, they really do. They really want me to reach out.
That mind reading, it'll really get to you.
Here we try to promote adult conversations. We try to promote clear communication. And so with that, we have to model for our ex what that means. If your ex sets a boundary with you and says, I want to end this relationship, you then respect that boundary by giving them that space. If they want to reach out to you, they have your number, they have access, they know how to contact you. So just be mindful of that. That even if you think your ex might secretly want you to reach out, we can't know for sure, and they're an adult. Give them that opportunity to reach out to you and initiate. Ask for what they need.
Yeah. Even though it's really difficult at times and you really feel that pull to reach out, to repair, you have to take them at their word on what they're saying they want. Even if they're giving mixed messages, and a lot of times they're posting things on Spotify and breakup songs, and I wish he'd reach out in the song, and all kinds of stuff like that. You don't want to get sucked into it, because that's what they want. In many cases, they want that, but it's just for their validation. It's not so they will repair it with you or get back together with you. They just want to know that they still have you. And so we don't want them to feel like all they have to do is post a song or something like that, ambiguous, and then you start reaching out. You need them to have the opportunity to take action on their own when they're ready, at their time, at their speed, and you have to respect it. That is what you can do to display confidence.
Right, and it's not fun playing this guessing game. What is my ex thinking? What's going on? And trying to read their mind. It's exhausting. Okay, so try to focus on you, on what your behavior is right now during no contact, and how you can put yourself in the best position possible. So some tips for those of you in this situation that are in no contact and are worried that it might be neglecting your partner, or they might take it as you're giving them the silent treatment. Number one is working through that guilt. It sounds like in the relationship there may have been times where you were neglectful. Go back and take another look at that. Margaret used to say that guilt isn't a negative emotion. She used to talk about how it's actually a healthy thing. It's basically your body telling you that something here isn't aligning with your values or how you would ideally like to treat someone. The problem happens when it becomes excessive. We can experience excessive guilt, taking on a lot more than we have responsibility for, or even a lot more than we can carry or can be expected to carry. So working through that guilt will help you see the situation a lot differently. It will give you that boost of confidence, will give you compassion for yourself.
Yep, great point.
Also working through any unresolved feelings that you might have with your ex. Many of you have this sense of, what if my ex doesn't know how I feel about them? My ex thinks that I don't love them, and now that I'm in no contact, they're just going to keep thinking that. What's ironic is that the ones who say this are normally the ones who have repeatedly after the breakup said, I love you so much, I want you to know what I'm telling you. So many times you have already stated on multiple occasions your feelings for your partner after the breakup, and so they know. Depending on how that end of the relationship went is really the determining factor for this one.
Yeah. And realize that if you do reach out to your ex, it's probably going to overwhelm them. Think about how anxious we are, okay? Whether you realize it or not, they're going to feel that anxiety when you're reaching out and trying to connect or have conversations with them. And so a lot of times they get very cold. They're trying to put you at a distance. If you've been pushing, then it tends to escalate and they get angry. They start lashing out. They feel like you're trying to manipulate them, which quite honestly you probably are trying to do. Can't do that. That's why we say don't use a lot of those strategies, because they often make the person more angry, more cold, and it takes them a lot more time to clearly see things and realize, okay, this is healthy or unhealthy, or what can we do to fix this situation?
Yeah. Work on your relationship skills. Work on communicating what caused the neglect in the first place, if neglect was involved in your relationship. And think about, maybe you yourself have an issue with neglect and abandonment. Maybe you right now feel neglected, and part of what you're experiencing is a bit of projection onto your ex about how they may or may not feel. So of course, we're always encouraging you to look inwards, to self-reflect. How you are feeling right now may be completely different from how your ex is feeling. And this is one of the foundational things that you have to understand about breakups.
Yeah, absolutely. And the main channel has over 1,200 videos.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's even more than that. That can help you understand a lot of these concepts and ideas that come up in videos here and there, tidbits here and there, if it's not directly about the topic. And of course, the Creative Healing course and the knowledge workbooks all can help you process things, see things more clearly, gain relationship skills, get through the breakup, and get to a place where you're a lot more confident and you're going to be a lot more skilled as a partner to either re-attract them or to date somebody new and blow that new person away.
Exactly.
All right, so hopefully this video has been helpful. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.